Journey to the Afterlife, unlocking the secrets of the Egyptian Book of the Dead. The ancient Egyptians were fascinated by death. They saw it not as an end, but as a transition to another realm. They believed in an afterlife, a place where the soul would continue to exist. They believed that the afterlife was a journey. The journey was dangerous, filled with challenges and obstacles. To help the dead navigate this perilous journey, they created the Book of the Dead. It's not a single book, but a collection of spells. These spells are instructions guiding the deceased through the underworld. They help the deceased navigate the underworld and reach a paradise called the Field of Reeds. Imagine the Field of Reeds as a perfect version of Egypt, an idealized landscape. The Field of Reeds had abundant food and beautiful landscapes, a place of eternal peace and prosperity. Here, the deceased could live forever in bliss, free from the troubles of the mortal world. The Book of the Dead was essential for reaching this paradise. It was a map, a guidebook for the soul's journey. The Book of the Dead provides a glimpse into the Egyptian view of the afterlife. It reveals their hopes, fears, and beliefs. It shows their deep religious beliefs, their reverence for the gods, and their understanding of the cosmos. The book is full of spells, hymns, and prayers, each one carefully crafted to aid the soul. These help the dead on their journey, providing protection and guidance. The Book of the Dead is one of the most important artifacts from ancient Egypt. It is a testament to their beliefs and their quest for eternal life. Ancient Egyptian beliefs, life, death, and the afterlife. The ancient Egyptians believed in life after death. Death was not the end. It was a transition to another world. This world was called the afterlife. To enjoy the afterlife, you needed to prepare. This meant living a good life. It also meant taking certain steps after death. The Egyptians believed in preserving the body after death. They used mummification to do this. They believed that the spirit needed a place to reside. The preserved body served this purpose. There was a person's life force. The afterlife was a perilous journey. There were tests and trials. The Egyptians believed in a final judgment. This judgment determined their fate in the afterlife. The Book of the Dead was a guide to help them through this. The Book of the Dead was a guidebook for the deceased, a crucial part of ancient Egyptian funerary practices. It was designed to help the dead navigate the afterlife, ensuring their safe passage and successful journey. Written on papyrus scrolls, these texts were often placed in the tombs of the deceased. The Book of the Dead contained a variety of spells, hymns, and prayers, each with a specific purpose. These texts were meant to guide and protect the deceased as they faced the challenges of the afterlife. The Egyptians believed that these spells provided essential protection against malevolent forces. They also endowed the deceased with power and knowledge to overcome obstacles. Contrary to what the name suggests, the Book of the Dead wasn't a single book. It was actually a collection of texts compiled over many centuries. These texts varied greatly from person to person, reflecting individual needs and beliefs. Not everyone had the same spells or incantations in their Book of the Dead. The content was often personalized, tailored to the deceased's life and status. Wealth and social status played a significant role in determining the complexity and richness of the texts. The creation of the Book of the Dead was a meticulous and lengthy process involving skilled scribes and artisans. Its origins can be traced back to the Old Kingdom, where the earliest versions began to take shape. Over the centuries, the Book of the Dead evolved, with new spells being added and older ones being modified to suit changing beliefs. By the time of the New Kingdom, it had become an elaborate and comprehensive guide, essential for the journey to the afterlife. The Book of the Dead didn't have a fixed structure. It was a collection of spells, incantations, and illustrations meant to guide the deceased through the afterlife. It varied depending on the time period, reflecting the evolving religious beliefs and practices of ancient Egypt. It also varied based on the person who owned it. Wealthy individuals could afford more elaborate versions, while simpler versions were available for those with fewer resources. However, certain spells were common across many versions. These spells were considered essential for navigating the afterlife. These spells provided the deceased with knowledge and protection. They were like a guidebook, offering instructions on how to overcome various challenges. This knowledge helped them pass the tests of the underworld, ensuring they could reach the afterlife safely. One of the most important spells was the negative confession. This spell was a declaration of innocence. In this spell, the deceased declared their innocence before the gods. They listed a series of sins they claimed not to have committed. They listed a series of sins such as lying, stealing, and harming others. They claimed they hadn't committed any of them, hoping to prove their worthiness. This spell was recited before Osiris, the god of the underworld, who judged the souls of the dead. He was the god of the underworld, responsible for determining the fate of the deceased. Section 5. The Weighing of the Heart Ceremony, a pivotal moment in the afterlife. The weighing of the heart ceremony was crucial. It determined the deceased's fate. It was a test of their moral character. It took place in the Hall of Two Truths. Anubis, the jackal-headed god, oversaw the ceremony. During the ceremony, the deceased's heart was placed on a scale. On the other side was the feather of Maat. Maat was the goddess of truth, justice, and order. If the heart balanced with the feather, the deceased was pure. They could enter the afterlife. If the heart was heavier than the feather, the deceased was doomed. They were devoured by Amit. Amit was a fearsome creature. She had the head of a crocodile, the body of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus. Section 6. Prominent gods and goddesses in the Book of the Dead. Many gods and goddesses are mentioned in the Book of the Dead. Each god played a specific role. Osiris was the god of the underworld. He judged the dead. Anubis was the god of mummification and the afterlife. He guided the dead through the underworld. Ra was the sun god. He represented life and rebirth. He traveled through the underworld. Each night he was reborn each morning. Horus was the god of kingship and protection. He was associated with the pharaoh. Isis was the goddess of magic and motherhood. She was the wife of Osiris. She helped revive him after his death. These gods and goddesses played vital roles in the Egyptian afterlife beliefs. Section 7. Symbolism and imagery in the Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead is full of symbolism. This symbolism has deep meaning. It reflects the Egyptians' beliefs about life, death, and the afterlife. The colors used in the illustrations also had meaning. For example, green symbolized rebirth and regeneration. Black represented death and the underworld. Gold represented the sun and eternal life. These colors were used deliberately. They added layers of meaning to the text and illustrations. The Book of the Dead also included images of amulets. These amulets were buried with the deceased. They provided protection and good luck in the afterlife. The use of symbolism and imagery made the Book of the Dead a powerful and evocative guide. Section 8. The Legacy of the Book of the Dead. The Book of the Dead provides invaluable insights into ancient Egyptian beliefs. It shows us how the Egyptians viewed death and the afterlife. The book also tells us about their moral values. It tells us about their social structure. The Book of the Dead has fascinated people for centuries. It has inspired countless works of art, literature, and film. The book continues to be studied by scholars today. It helps us understand the rich culture of ancient Egypt. The Book of the Dead is a testament to the human desire for immortality. It shows us the power of belief in shaping our understanding of the world. Section 9. Conclusion. Unraveling the mysteries of ancient Egyptian beliefs. The Egyptian Book of the Dead is a fascinating window into the ancient world. It's more than just a collection of spells. It's a guide to the afterlife. It's filled with rich mythology and symbolism. It tells us about the Egyptians' beliefs about life, death, and the afterlife. It reflects their desire to prepare for the unknown. The book's intricate spells, captivating illustrations, and powerful deities continue to intrigue us. They offer a glimpse into a civilization that was deeply invested in the afterlife. The Book of the Dead reminds us that death was a central part of life for the ancient Egyptians. It was not the end, but a transition to another world, a world they meticulously prepared for with the help of this remarkable book.